Welcome to sort of a loose part of the Retopo Academy. If you watch part 3, I showed some of the concepts on a hand retopology, and I decided to drop this portion of that video as a separate one. And here is a full hand retopology. With that said, let's get to it. Hello everyone, I'm Nemesis from Angon85. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time watching this Retopo Academy series, I recommend you watch first the 3 other parts, since this one is pretty much coming from what was built in the previous videos. But if you already have notions of retopology and just want to see which approach I'm using for the hand retopology, so you are in the right place. Being said, let's get to work. Hey guys, as mentioned, this is a loose part within the Retopo Academy, and we will be doing the retopology of this hand. This will better display some of the concepts that we covered in our Retopo Academy Part 3. The goal here is to see the implementation of the polygon reduction and other concepts previously covered. You can find online many resources to guide you in the process of retopology. You will find for hands, head, legs, and the entire body. These resources, I like to call them formulas, and some of them may have a different polygon arrangement, but they serve the same purpose. The formula I used to learn a few years ago was from Danny Mac in one of his courses. I think he's one of the best artists out there explaining how to do retopology, so I think you should really check his work. I will leave the link in the description so you can find his courses. For this video, I will be using this realistic hand from blender.org, and I will also leave the link in the description in case you want to download this model and follow along. This hand is good as it is, but I normally like to do some preparation for the fingers by making them more separate so I have more space to work in between them. Let's move to sculpt mode. This hand comes with face sets, but I like to mark these faces myself, so I will remove them. You can do this by clicking on Face Sets and then Face Sets from Visible. I take the lasso face sets and begin selecting each finger. With the Draw Face Sets, I will improve the selection. Position the cursor on the color you want to extend, and while holding Ctrl, you can start coloring your face set using the same color. If you want to remove part of the face set, just position the cursor on the opposite color, hold Ctrl and paint. I just continue improving the selection. With my selection completed, I will take the pose brush from the toolbar. Now let's go to the tool panel, and in rotation origins, I change it to face sets. So now I have this handle that I can use to separate the fingers a bit more. Doing this makes it easier for retopology. I will be using the free version of Retopo Flow for this video and the retopology formula I learned from Danny Mac, but with a twist, since I will be using a different tool to accomplish the retopology. Please remember that this is a hand retopology tutorial and not for the Retopo Flow add-on. I will quickly explain which tool I'm using, but nothing in depth. With the hand selected, I will go to Retopo Flow tab and click at Active. I would normally begin with the fingers, since it is easier to do with the contours tool, but for the sake of this video, since we want to cover polygon reduction, I will start with the wrist, then we can make a reduction from top to bottom to connect everything. So with the contours tool, I will create some loops with 10 edges. I relax this a bit. The reason why I decided to begin with this part of the arm in this video is because when doing retopology, you will normally come from the top of the arm all the way down to the hands, and because the arm will not need as much density as the hands, you will need to find a way to manage the topology in the more dense areas to be able to connect them to the areas with lower density, specifically the wrist. Again, With the Contours tool, I will set loops around the fingers with 8 edges, leaving the tip of the finger and setting my loops close to the root of the fingers. For the thumb, instead of using 8, I will use loops of 10 edges. This is the first part, and some of the main areas have been covered. We will now connect the fingers, and this is the reason why we made the separation in the beginning. Using the 2 inner faces by the size of the fingers, and with the poly pen selected, I start connecting them. With the connection done, I will quickly move some of the vertices into a better position. Now that I have placed the vertices in a better place, I will go ahead and add an extra loop. To do this quickly, I will be using the Strokes tool. With the poly pen, I will complete the missing areas. I will select these edges and move them up a bit to match with the ones on the other side. The next step will be to add loops in the middle of the fingers to improve the shape in these areas. Let's arrange the vertices quickly. Now it's time to do some reduction. With the Contours tool, I can select the whole loop to inspect the number of edges, and we have 32, and this is because all the details we need in this area. But let's remember that at the bottom we have only 10, and we need to make sure that this will match at the end. If you watched part 3 of the Retopo Academy, you might remember this diamond concept to reduce the number of faces, and we will be doing the same here. Using the loops we just added in the middle of the fingers as a guide, I will create this diamond shape with the poly pen. If I move up this vertex, we can see the diamond I'm referring to. Now with the diamonds in place, I will complete the loop of faces. Let me quickly reposition some of these edges. Let's now connect the index finger to the thumb using 2 of the edges by the side of the index. I will now add 2 loops to improve the shape. Using the edge from the last face in the connection from the index to the thumb, I will create a loop around this finger. Using a loop, I can inspect if this one has been placed correctly. Now I will fill with loops of faces the other remaining areas of the connection. Some quick adjustments. I will add 3 more loops of faces and arrange them. Since we are getting close to the wrist, let's check how many edges we have. Now there are 20 edges, so we are going in the right direction. Creating this face from the corner of the thumb loop, I will generate a pole and will add some faces. We can now see our poles, and if you want to know a bit more about this, you may want to check this video. We still have our 20 edges, but now since we completed the last loop connected to the fingers, it is easier to work on our reduction. To make the reduction, we will take the same approach as with the fingers by using the diamonds. I am using this line from the other diamond as a guide to make this one. I will now connect these vertices to make a quad. By doing this, I reduce the number of edges going to the wrist as well as rerouting the loop so this one don't need to travel through the arm. Let's add some of these diamonds on the top of the hand to do the same we did to the palm. All going well. The next reduction and rerouting we will do is the one connected to the little finger. To do this, I will make a face on this side, then one on this one, and I can connect the two to finally fill the middle face. If I use a loop, we can see how this one is going back to the finger. With the poly pen, I will add the missing faces. With the loop of faces completed, I will take the Relax tool to quickly smooth the topology. With the Strokes tool, I will select the edges to check how many we have. As you can see, we now have 10 edges. I will take the contour to extend this loop and bring it closer to the wrist. With the poly pen, I will complete the faces. Let's relax it. I can now throw some loops in some areas. At this point, we have completed the most challenging part, which connected the hand to the wrist, but we will continue this hand retopology with the tip of the fingers. This part is not that complicated when you get to learn it from Danny Mac, and remember, you will have the link in the description to his video tutorials. I'm using the two faces at the top as my guide to select the ones by the side. I create two faces and connect them with two more faces. We will do the same with the next two faces on the side and connect them. Now I can easily connect these faces. Let's arrange this a bit around the nail. This is a bit different than the bottom. I will create 4 faces and then I can complete the missing one. I move the vertices in place and fill the middle face. What we have done will allow me to add loops around the nail. I will do the same for the other 3 fingers, so let's speed this up. For the thumb, it's a bit different because if you remember, we add a loop of 10 edges, but 8 for the rest of the fingers. But anyways, this is not complicated. I will again use the 2 faces on the top as my guide, but instead of connecting 2 rows of faces on the side, I will do 3 this time. Let's add the next 2 rows. I can now position the vertices and proceed to complete the missing faces. Since I relaxed the vertices, I moved them too much, so let's quickly fix this. No mysteries here, we will do the same we did to the rest of the fingernails. With this, our hands is retopologized. Now I can add some loops and relax vertices wherever I need it. Back in object mode, with /, I can isolate the view so we can inspect our hand. I could now add a subdivision modifier. You can see how nice it looks with some of the details from the nails. In edit mode, we can appreciate the edges as well as using the wireframe. I hope this hand retopology will be helpful to you. And that's it guys for this video. If you enjoyed the content, please consider to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions to improve the channel, please let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you soon.